Well, for one thing, that's not going to stop child exploitation. If you look at countries with a history of, having prostitution or adult services illegal, you'll notice that the people still go there and for the purpose of child exploitation. Like, it's illegal in the Philippines, it's illegal in Cambodia, it's illegal in Thailand. It has something to do more with economic power. It really has to do more with the difference between different social classes in countries where there really isn't much of a middle class. Number two, if you look at countries where it is legal, where adult services are legal, like certain parts of the United States, like Nevada or even Amsterdam, you'll notice that you don't have these groups of men going for the sole purpose of, just being there to be with these women. Second, getting rid of it in Colombia is not going to stop violence towards women from these groups of men that travel from different parts of the world. If you look at the infamous case of John Polos, who went to Colombia and he deleted, unalived his girlfriend, she wasn't even an adult services worker. She was just a regular DJ. If you look at the case of the person who flew in from Canada and then unalived the young girl, she was an adult services girl. And number three, Colombians don't want to get rid of it. We're the ones who put it in place because we want them to have certain protections from people. The Constitution of Colombia does recognize adult services work as a protected status. It's also legal in Germany and it's also legal in Amsterdam, but it's heavily regulated. And you don't see all these types of abuses by these passport bros over there, do you? Many people from the lesbian, gay, and trans and queer community also participate in adult services work in Colombia. Most of the Colombian society wants to keep it legal, and I am actually one of those people who not only supports it, but I want them to have greater protections from abuse, whether national or international. In fact, I even look to the European model, which is Amsterdam, in which they have legalized adult services, but they have good protections for the people. What's up, everybody? How are we doing today? My name is Ray Condor. I am a Colombian digital content creator. So basically what I have been doing for the last, 20 or 30 different videos, I have been fighting with passport bros because these people, these group of people who are sex tourists, basically, they're flying down to Colombia. They're getting into all sorts of trouble. They're deleting women. They're doing stuff with little kids. They're doing stuff with this illegal, sometimes with drugs, and getting themselves into a lot of dangerous situations. Either they're getting deleted themselves, they're going to jail, they're being deported, or they're just going to stay in prison in Colombia forever. One of my commenters on my TikTok account basically left me a comment stating what he feels that the problems are and what the solution should be. I think we should go through this together, and I'm going to use this as a teaching opportunity, not as a way to attack him, because I have been going hard on the passport bros. In fact, not hard enough. And but he's not a passport bro, at least I don't think he is. And he basically shared his opinion, what the problems are in his eyes, in his point of view, and I'm going to tell him and everybody here what the Colombians' eyes are point of view, how Colombian society thinks, and what we think that the solution should be. I just tried to go back and look at the comment that that person had left me to discuss what we're talking about, and I found out that they had erased the comment. I did take a screenshot, but because they had erased it, I'm gonna honor that, and I'm gonna respect them, and I'm not gonna show their name. However, I want to continue, and I will show the comment itself without the name, because I feel this is an important topic that we need to talk about. I'm not trying to belittle anybody. I'm just trying to use this as a teaching moment for people to understand, what is it that we're talking about? Because I keep trying to explain in so many different ways, and it seems that people don't understand. So he goes on to say, you're correct. In the last 10 years, the tourism coming to Colombia has gotten out of control. But I think there is a bigger issue. Why doesn't Colombia ban working girls? And I did briefly cover that in the beginning, explaining that Colombians do not want to, but I would also want to expand on that. And I'm going to use two different clips from my past videos to further explain something that you don't understand. Excellent question. I'm very glad that you asked that. And even though I have answered this in my previous videos, if you notice something very peculiar about this particular clip, there's about three things that you need to know. Number one, that is an adult services worker in a motel. Number two, she had called the cops. Number three, if you look at her build and you get the sound of her voice, she was actually born a man, because adult services workers are not only women, there are also men, and sometimes they're transgender. They could be male to female, or they can also be female to male. Because, the people who solicit adult services workers are different sexual orientations. Now, I would like to let you know this. The reason why she called the cops was is that because I saw the whole video. She basically stated that he had called her in early in the morning, like before the sun went up, and he asked her to see her at the motel because he wanted adult services. After she gave him the services, he did not want to pay. So you know what she did? She called the cops, and the cops showed up. And this is not the only time. I've seen multiple situations with transgenders in Colombia where they will call the cops on you if you do not pay. Now, for this particular person who's leaving me a comment and says, well, why don't you make it illegal? Because if it was illegal, that person will get away with it. You understand? The person will get away with it. And the LGBTQ community faces a lot of discrimination, a lot of violence. Okay? At least they have some type of protection. And this goes for women also. This is the reason why Colombians have made it legal. At least they get some type of protection. If passport bros, and I have seen passport bros, like you saw in my other past video, where the women were actually fighting with the guys because the guys didn't want to pay. And these guys are basically North American. They not only the North American but Europeans. I have seen that. And guess what happens when they call the cops will make you pay. Unfortunately, not all cops, straight and narrow, meaning that they're not uncorrupted. Some cops will literally pull down dozens of dollars from people because they catch these people doing certain things that will be illegal here. Also, good cops, and the good cops will not accept briberies, and the good cops will say, "Hey, you either pay her or him, or you're going to go to jail, and you don't want to be in a jail in Colombia. Trust me." Now, for the second video that I want you to see.
Este trapo que ustedes ven ahí, fijo, persiguen feministas y encubre pedófilos, casi que nos es arrebatado por la Subsecretaría de Espacio Público y la policía gorda. Y en cambio salían puteros extranjeros de esos lugares y hasta trataban mal a la fuerza pública, la maltrataban.
Turns out that between almost a year ago or a little less than a year, the people in Medellin got tired of these sexual tourists. That's what they are. And they went down to Parquilleras in Medellin. Parquilleras is the area where most of the passport bros congregate. In some regular tourists during the day, but at night time it becomes a full-on area where you could see adult services workers. And they were protesting the mayor, they were protesting the businesses, they were protesting a whole lot of things. And as you can see, they were burning some things. Now, I did cover that in some of my videos, and I'm not going to knock you if you didn't go far enough to see my videos, but I did cover that twice. And I did see a third video out there, which I want to talk about right now. I did see another angle, and guess who was also marching with them? Not just feminists, not just regular people, adult services workers. Yes, my friends, prostitutes were marching along with them. And the people were asking them, well, why are you marching with them if these people are the ones that give you money? And you know what the adult services workers were saying? We're tired of the abuse. We're not marching against the fact that prostitution exists. We're marching against abuse, okay? Because some of these people who come from other countries are being abusive. Now, this person will tell me, well, is it true that locals are abusive? Yeah, locals are abusive too. So this is the reason why Colombians do not want to get rid of it. Why? Because the government provides them protections. I don't think people understand that what it is. And I think that because you're coming in from a different country and you don't understand Colombian law, you don't understand how it is. The law was created to protect them. Okay, the law was created to protect them, and also you as well, but more to protect them, to protect the women, to protect the adult services workers, including the men who are gay, and including the people who are transgender, because we value the fact that these are human beings, and human beings deserve the right to be respected and to not face abuse. I saw a video of Austin Holloman, who's a famous passport bro that got kicked out of Brazil for doing similar things to what I'm talking about in my other videos. And he did an interview with a guy, which is another passport bro. And you know what this guy had said? He said that he had gone down to Brazil and he contracted a woman, and he said that he was going to pay her a certain amount of reais, which is the money that they use in Brazil, reais. And guess what? After she gave him the adult services, this particular man laughed in her face and he refused to pay. And he's bragging about it on YouTube to Austin Holloman. And he called her a 4-letter word of the third world, and that she's always going to be that 4-letter word. WHORE. Yeah. I can't even think straight because it's late at night right now. Okay. Don't you think this is abuse? Now, I understand that in Brazil it's also legal, and the women actually do, and the men and the transgenders do get a pension. The last time I heard, and this was 10 years ago, I'm not sure if the law has changed. Okay, he laughed in her face, making her cry, and she needed this money for her child, and her child was hungry. And he called her, "You will always be a four-letter word of the third world, and I'm not going to pay you." That is abuse. This is why Colombians do not want to make it illegal. Okay, this is why we do not want to make it illegal, because abusive people like that. The problem is not the women. The problem is not us. The problem is the men who cannot control themselves. Because, like I said in the beginning of my video, okay, many of these men go to third world countries where they don't have economic power, and they still go seeing adult services, and they still exploit the children. Okay, they still exploit children. They still exploit women. It does happen, and they exploit little boys and exploit men also. Because I have heard many stories from Colombians, and what I'm telling you, this is not my opinion. I'm telling you the opinion of local people, but I'm translating for them so you can understand, so the people can help change. Maybe not you, the person I'm responding to, but for the passport bros out there, for the ones who are guilty of it, you guys need to change, because I'm trying to watch out for you. Make it illegal with serious consequences if you're caught. That would deter a lot of the type of men coming into the country. False. If you look at many countries in Southeast Asia where adult services is illegal, people still go there and exploit children. They still go there and exploit women. They still go do a lot of horrible things and hurt people. I mean, look at the Philippines. There's a German guy. There's a German guy who did really horrible things. I forgot the guy's name, but like he did really bad things, and I'm glad that he was caught. Like this is the stuff of horror movies that he was doing with kids, and he actually employed two young Filipino women to help him in that. Like this was absolutely horrendous, and that's not legal in the Philippines, so that's not changing. If you notice, the people who commit these crimes are 99.99% of the time men, not women. I will tell you why. Most of the people who own those businesses are part of the broken system that have been business for years. I think that that's not a broken system to you, maybe. I don't think you're understanding. See, for a lot of passport bros, and for people who are expats, tourists, whatever they want to call it, they really don't understand the Colombian law. Let me explain Colombian law. Even though it is adult services is legal for someone above the age of 18, okay? It is legal for someone above the age of 18, both male or female or trans. What is illegal is pimping. That is very illegal. Well, you know what is also illegal? That what passport bros are doing? Promotion online. Yes. If you look at this person up here, which I'm showing here, his name is Mentuition. All right. His particular channel, he literally stated that he was promoting it. He was talking about where to go, what the price ranges are, how much they are, who to talk to, how to get certain services and stuff like that. Not only is that illegal in Colombia, that can actually get you not only barred from Colombia, from banned from entering the country, but that it can also get you arrested. Believe it or not, that is also illegal. Now, the government does have something called tolerance zones, and in these tolerance zones, certain organizations, certain businesses can operate where the women can also promote the services from there, what you call a brothel. While that it is true that happens, you need to understand that these places are regulated by the government. Cops will walk up in there, health inspectors walk up in there, and stuff like that. Now you're gonna say, "Oh yeah, well somebody do it, somebody didn't do it." Guess what? No business. I mean, even in the United States, where supposedly we have law and order, okay, no business. There's plenty of businesses that do fraud, plenty of businesses that don't follow the law, but most of them do follow the law, and they are regulated by the government. Warning: just because these businesses exist, it does not give the passport bros to go do free reign whatever they want to do, because these places are very well regulated by the police. The police will walk up in there and check everything out, make sure everything is okay. All right. And for the guys who want to be abusive, it is even less of a chance that you'll go there. And this is why many women actually choose to work in a brothel, because they get more protection also. All right. They will go in there and they will make sure they will do have bodyguards. They do have cops that go in there and stuff like that. You cannot go in there and hit a woman. You cannot even go in there and touch a woman inappropriately outside of what she accepted. And also, if you do not pay, they will call the cops on you. And you do not want the cops getting in that, because it will turn very bad. Root cause also needs to be addressed, and that is close down those brothels. I'm not finding the connection between brothels and what happened to Laura Lopera, who was unalived by what's it called, Jesse Weissman, that guy who ran off to Canada. Same thing with John Polos, who unalived his DJ girlfriend. Like, these girls weren't street workers. They weren't working in a brothel or anything like that. So I'm not understanding. A lot of the videos that I make do talk about people related to the areas of S work, but not all of them are, because the problem here is this: feminicide, which is the deletion of women, exploitation, and also the exploitation of children, is not caused by brothels. It's actually caused by men. The in the end, the person who commits the crimes are the ones who are guilty of it. And if you notice, you don't see any women complaining in my comments saying, "Oh, not all Americans are like that." North Americans, I should say, because Colombians are Americans. Not all Europeans are like that. The only ones who really complain are the guys. So this is not a certain person of color. It's not a certain person of a certain class. They can passport bro or an S tourist, whatever they want to call themselves, can be of any class, of any color, of any association. But one thing I can say is that 99.99% of the time is usually a guy. And that's where the issue is. You cannot blame adult services workers for the violence towards women. You cannot blame adult services workers in brothels for the exploitation of children, the exploitation of transgenders. You cannot blame them for violence and stuff like that. That's caused by the guys themselves. And we really need to be honest with ourselves. Who is the issue? And many would say, well, you guys do it in Colombia too. Yeah, they're guilty of it also. It is, it is a problem of the people who are causing it. Okay, but just because people locally do it doesn't mean we should allow other people who are flying in who have these histories to increase more of the pain and suffering. So it is way more than that. No, it's not the brothels, but when the powers won't let it happen. You say powers, which powers are you talking about? You talking about the powers in Medellin, or the powers in Villavicencio, or the powers in, let's say, Popayan, or maybe Mocoa, Leticia? Not all brothels have the same powers, and the people of Medellin knows who runs what and where they run what. And I cannot talk about the certain names of who runs what because it can get me into an issue. So yeah, we'll just leave it at that. And no, brothels are not the cause of that. So hopefully you can understand. I am one of the people, and most of the people, we do not want to get rid of prostitution. Why? It provides protection for the adult services workers. There are things that need to be worked out, wrinkles in the system that is absolutely not perfect, but I believe that it should be there. And no, I do not want it to be removed. And I hopefully you'll understand why we do not want it to be removed. And as for when it comes to child exploitation, when it comes to violence of against women, against as workers, or even regular women itself, and if these foreigners are causing it, you need to turn around and say, hey guys, because of you're making us look bad. You need to change your behavior. So it is you as a traveler that if you see another traveler that is not from the nation, just let them know. Say, hey, the Colombian people are getting pretty pissed off right now. You want to tone it down. That's all you got to do. It's that simple. Just behave. That's all that you got to do.